Hello and welcome to today's video. We are going to wrap up the second gene key here, going over the Siddhi of Unity today from gene key number 2, which is returning to the one. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos to the second gene key series, I recommend doing so, or you can hop right in right now and reverse engineer it. Time's not linear, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Also, my name is Haley. I don't know if I already said that. And I've had a little bit too much coffee today, so I'm definitely might stumble over my words a little bit more than usual. Diving right in here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's like the whistle of the leaves. Diving right in. He starts this chapter off with divine logic. It's his title. And I just like the way that sounds, divine logic. That'd be a cool name for an album, Divine Logic. He says this second Siddhi describes the experience of enlightenment or awakening. And this second Siddhi, he also notes, is feminine in nature, and it's the cornerstone of all the Citic states. So there's 64 Citic states within this gene keys, one for each key. And this is the foundation for it, because it's the essence of the divine feminine, this entire second gene key. And then he goes into a minor rabbit hole here. Okay, yes, it's a feminine gene key, but because we're in Siddhi, unity, oneness, there's actually no duality. So there's not feminine and masculine. He talks about how masculine is simply the externalization of the feminine rather than a duality. Very flowery way to say unity means one. There's no separation. So it's not that this Citic state of unity is only feminine. Feminine is just the way he's choosing to describe it. Another way you could say is feminine is externalized masculine. Depending how you look at it. Because at the Citic level, there is no such thing as duality. At the Citic level, at oneness, at full communion with God, true alignment, duality is destroyed by this kind of strange divine logic. So he brings it back to that title. He's calling it divine logic because once again, he's using the confines of the English language to try to describe oneness. And to try to describe anything, you do need to break it down. But once again, he's drilling home here. Ironically enough, it's actually all one, and it can't be explained. Kind of a rabbit hole. And if none of this is making logical sense to you, once again, it's not supposed to. It's meant to just download into here. So, especially I've noticed really the entirety of this book, but specifically the Siddhi states are meant to just, in my opinion, be read and read with an awareness, knowing that here can perfectly digest, understand, acknowledge, and internalize the wisdom that it needs to derive from these Citic states. So even though maybe this is so complicated my mind can't understand and compartmentalize, I do know that my heart is intelligent enough to understand everything about this Citic state. Then he goes into a little caveat here about how at the Citic level, at the oneness level, there's only one, the number 1, and the number 3. There's no such thing as 2. 1 is 1, he says. It is consciousness resting at its own nature. One plus 1 does not equal 2 at the Citic level, but always makes 3. Okay, so what does that mean? He goes on to explain and give an example. This can only be grasped intuitively, he warns. Once again, as you're listening to this video, know that your heart understands. So the reason 1 + 1 = 3 at the Citic level is because every duality is really a relationship. Every duality is really a relationship. Going back to that first part. The feminine, okay, so this gene key is feminine, which another way to say feminine is externalized masculine. Same exact thing. You can think about it, say you have a bag. It's feminine, you flip it inside out, now it's externalized masculine. It's the same bag. That's the way he's using to describe this. You can think of a flipping in and out. It's still the same one item. And so 1 + 1 is 3 at the Citic level, he says, because every duality is really a relationship, and every relationship is really 3. Now, what does that mean? He says there's a man, there's a woman, and instantly there is also a couple, a relationship itself. Wow. Okay, so I read that and I thought that is beautiful, because actually I wrote a poem about this, which I will link below the video. And one of my friends, Luca, made a beautiful visual to it. It's on my Instagram, so it's actually really nice to watch, thanks to him. Thank you, Luca, if you're watching this. And in the poem, I talk about this concept, which is interesting because I wrote this without understanding Citic math. I don't know if Citic math is even a term. But in the poem, I talk about how the relationship I desire is to create a new vessel to pour in presence. Meaning, the man has full presence, full awareness, full love, so much so that he's overflowing, and same with me. So much, or like, let's just use a woman in this instance. So much love, so much presence, it's overflowing. Both of these overflows go into a new vessel to pour in presence, to create something new, to create the relationship. So at the Citic level, 1 + 1, whether it's man and man, woman and woman, man and woman, create, ideally, a relationship. That's how you know you're at the Citic level, because you have enough love to overflow and create a new vessel for you each to share, co-create, and exchange in. And that's really beautiful. So at the Citic level, once again, there's only the numbers 1 and 3. I'm going to say it one more time. This is something that can only be grasped intuitively. Intuitively. Oneness cannot be comprehended, only lived. Okay, so what is the part of myself that attempts to comprehend? Up here. So if it can't be comprehended, it can only be lived. Just naturally, I ask myself, well, where do I live? People say, all these cliches are true, all these very cheesy cliches. Oh, live from your heart. Go figure, it's true. So oneness can't be comprehended, only lived, which means it can only be lived from here. This is what download came for me, at least. From the heart. Oneness can only be lived from the heart. The heart is a higher intelligence than the mind. A greater and more infinite intelligence than the mind. The mind is limited to what it knows or hypothesizes, whereas the heart is infinite. Okay, so this part is so beautifully written. I think I literally underlined basically the whole page. So I loved every ounce of reading this, because it really helped give me framework to what is enlightenment. For so many years I've tried to logically understand enlightenment, logically understand oneness. And here he explains why it can't be understood, and I find that very helpful. Enlightenment is not an experience. It's a bold statement, so I keep reading. This is a sentence to meditate upon. All right, so I personally followed that advice because I think Richard Rudd's a legend. So if he's going to tell me to meditate upon anything. He could tell me to meditate upon elephants eating chocolate chip muffins, and I would do it because I'm sure he has sound advice. Something to meditate upon, Richard Rudd says, is the phrase, enlightenment is not an experience. So if you want some homework, there's your homework. Meditate on the phrase, enlightenment is not an experience. If you see oneness, he says, as an experience to be attained, to be captured, to make mine, to understand, to limit, to logically analyze, or if you think that oneness may one day happen to you, then you are caught within the straight line between 2 points. What does that mean? What's a straight line with 2 points? It's limits. You're not unlimited. If there's 2 points, you're not unlimited. And if you're limited, you can't be coming from here because the heart is unlimited. So this means that enlightenment is nothing to be attained. There's nothing to attain. There's nothing to contain. There's nothing to limit. This is what he's trying to say. So just pin that. The dogs agree. Enlightenment is not to be contained. And then he goes right into, and he doesn't explain why. Once again, it's because the Citic state, there's no need for reasoning or logic. It's just simple truths. And this is, I think, why he advises to meditate upon it, because you could sit here and rack your brain all day long, but again, that's not the point. The point is to live it. And when you meditate, you focus, your mind quiets down, and naturally your heart speaks. You allow your heart to digest the wisdom and bring it into your being so that you can embody it as you move forth. He carries on to say here, transcendence. He carries on to talk about transcendence. So next little section here. Actually, and before I even get into that, the word transcendence to me has always meant to go beyond, to leave something behind, to get over. A new paradigm, a new dimension. But I'm starting to realize I've always thought of it actually quite linearly. When in reality, of course it's not. I already know what he's gonna say here. You know, as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, I already know I have this wrong. Give it to me, Richard Rudd, what's the truth? He says, it does not occur to you. It rather negates you. Transcendence does not occur to you. Transcendence does not happen to you. It rather negates you. Transcendence does not take you away from life. As the name may suggest, it places you right in the heart of life, where you have always been. There's a lot of great lines in this Citic state of unity, and that has got to be my favorite one. Transcendence does not take you away from life. You don't become a monk in a cave. You don't skip paradigms and live in love and light and not drink coffee and see your friends anymore. It doesn't take you away from this 3D reality. No, he says it places you right in the heart of life, where you have always been. Where I've always been? Okay, so does that mean transcendence is available right here? Right now? Because if I've always been here, that means I never left. That means there's nowhere to go. Always been here, eternal. That means yesterday I was in transcendence. That means tomorrow I'm in transcendence. It means right now I'm in transcendence. It places you right in the heart of life, where you have always been. It unifies all opposites, ends all riddles, leaves all mysteries just as they are, and brings a sense of trust that cannot be described. ends, okay, so the part I like about this is ends all riddles. What's a riddle? Riddle is something you can't figure out, you're trying to figure out. Leaves all mysteries. Nothing's left to mystery. He's describing transcendence. Ends all riddles, no mystery. Or sorry, leaves all mysteries just as they are. So maybe the mystery's still there, but you're content with it being there. You're not trying to figure it out. Brings a sense of trust that cannot be described. So to be in alignment with the transcendence that's always here, that was here yesterday, that's here tomorrow, all I have to do is enter into a divine state of trust. Stop analyzing, stop trying to figure out life, stop trying to figure out the matrix, stop trying to explain things, stop trying to figure out why I broke my clavicle, or why I lost my job, or why Stacy hates me, or my boyfriend and I broke up, or why my husband and I got divorced, or my cat died. Stop trying to figure out whatever it is that you've either already moved through, that you're currently moving through, or that you think you're going to move through. Stop trying to figure it out and get into a state of trust. And now you've attuned with the transcendence that's always been here. I just think he says all that so beautifully. And when you stop trying to figure things out, truly stop trying to figure things out, oh, what is there else to do but enjoy? Now all of a sudden, there's nothing to figure out. There's just, as cheesy as it sounds, this present moment to fractal into. These shadows on the window to observe. The beauty of the sunset in the sky and the way the clouds differ. I mean, the shine of light off this pen. If you're truly in this state of trust and you're really not trying to figure the whole matrix out, you naturally relax, you naturally become present, you transcend. And then he says, one cannot even really use a word like trust to describe the Siddhi of Unity, because trust suggests duality again. There is somehow a truster and a trustee. This is the wonderful dilemma of the Citic state. This is the divine logic. Explain it as you may, whether it's me explaining it, Richard Rudd explaining it, you trying to explain it and understand it, but that's the whole point. It cannot be understood. It can't be captured. It can't be confined. Even this video, you know? I need to be at peace that at the end of this video, there's still no way to explain what I'm trying to explain, ironically enough. And this is the divine logic. This is the cosmic joke. God is hilarious. God is a comedian. Love is funny. Life is silly. This is just how it is. So then he talks about how this second Siddhi is going to manifest through an individual in the world of form. And the people who do truly carry this trust in life are extremely magnetic. And the entire planet is affected by one person who walks in this state of transcendence, who is unified. Affect every single person on the planet, because it's a very, very powerful state. It's a state of an eternal presence. I mean, that's enlightenment we're talking about. This is big stuff. He says that sounds like science fiction, that one person can affect the collective, but in fact it is not. This one human being that's unified actually changes the direction of the Earth as it moves through space. I like that he adds that. It's a little sci-fi. Cool. I believe it. He says, it will make the species leap into a new level of consciousness. Then he mentions here how the year 2012 and the year 2027, and again, he, like I said, Richard Rudd is grounded, but he also gets a little hippy dippy, which I totally appreciate. He's a very, very multifaceted guy. And he mentions how these 2 years, 2012 and 2027, are a hugely significant time frame because a lot of these axis points, you could say, astrology, stars align, provide way for people to make this leap in consciousness, get unified, sediment themselves in the state of transcendence, and therefore affect the collective. And then he says, a lot of these axis points, he's calling these access points, where the stars line perfectly for this kind of energy to channel through, will follow in the near future. So take that if you want, if it resonates. I know that part's definitely a bit woo-woo for some. But yeah, astrology is trendy these days, so maybe it does resonate. That's the beautiful part about this book, and really any book, any religion, any science. It's like, read it, watch it, whatever. Take what you want and leave the rest that doesn't resonate. That's what I do, and works great for me. Because I think that is what this is all about. Educating yourself, receiving information from other people, other books, other religions, and then using your own internal guidance system to tell you what's right for you and what's, I'm gonna leave that on the table. Oh, I don't actually like that flavor. And that's okay that you like that flavor, but it's not for me. It doesn't have to be so aggressive when you reject something, if it doesn't resonate. It can be a very like, oh no, thank you, thanks. It's not for me. That's something I've had to work on. Discerning what's for me and what's not for me. That's an interesting contemplation for whoever's watching this. How do you cope with when things are handed to you that don't resonate? Are you a people pleaser and take it even though you're like, I don't actually want to eat this information, this is really not for me? Or are you kind of harsh, oh, that is so wrong, and you push it away and you get angry or prideful, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, my religion's right, yours is wrong, this book is all right and yours is wrong? There's two ends of the spectrum, and I think the goal is, like, once again, to become balanced, becoming aware of what is for you, what does resonate, and what's not for you, and placing it back in a way that's loving. The second siddhi is the original nature of consciousness itself, and it manifests as a highly beautiful plan unfolding in time and space, swept along by the currents of evolution. I just like the way that sounds. I'm not even going to try to pick that apart. I'll read it one more time though, because I feel like a lot of the sentences he uses in here, these really flowery, poetic ones, just feel like silk to my ears. So let me read that again for you all. The second siddhi is the original nature of consciousness itself, and it manifests as a highly beautiful plan, unfolding in time and space, swept along by the currents of evolution. The last thing I'll leave you all with here is, this is indeed our final destiny as a species, he says, to realize our state of oneness and unity with all that is. It's that simple. We're all here to realize our unity and oneness with all that is. What a beautiful gene key. That wraps up Returning to the One. Stay tuned for next time as we get into the third gene key, Through the Eyes of a Child. I love I love how that sounds. Love and aloha. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in with me for this Gene Keys episode. I also just wanted to come on here and start promoting my one-to-one coaching that I offer to women and girls ages 16 to 35. If you've followed me on Instagram for a while, you might be a little bit familiar with my story. I was a model in New York City for 5 years, and in that time frame, I did quite some damage. I developed a really severe eating disorder, body dysmorphia, chronic anxiety. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even go out to dinner without thinking about how much calories, how much I'd have to overwork out in order to compensate for what I was eating. All of those issues led to quite a depression and turned into PCOS, and I also lost my menstrual cycle for over 5 years. All of this amalgamation of issues led me to soon realize that something needed to change. I went through much work. Many people helped me to get to where I am now. And I'm so thrilled to say I'm living such a more abundant life, and I don't feel zapped and drained and fear of judgment anymore like I used to. I would love to offer what I've learned through my own embodied experience, the meditative techniques that have gravitated toward me, and the own verified games that I've made up and curated to help you walk home to more of you and who you really are, so that all of these things can stop draining your energy. You know, all the constant comparison to others and to people on Instagram, all the over-analysis about working out and what you're eating or what you look like. All of these things are not what life's about, as cheesy as it sounds. And I would love to help you come into more unity with you if you struggle with any of these things and you're a woman or girl between the ages of 16 and 35. So feel free to reach out to me if one-on-one coaching sounds resonant. You can feel free to DM me through Instagram or contact me via email, both of which will be left below in the description box. So much love and aloha to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.